Welcome to Love to See It, a podcast about Mel Owens doing a little damage control.
He is definitely sorry for saying on a podcast that he only wanted to date women under 60 right before filming a show where his one and only job is to date more than 20 women who are over 60.
That was a bit of a whoopsie. So, joining us today to discuss the premiere of season 2 of The Golden Bachelor is none other than Jonathon Johnson, fresh off the most recent season of Bachelor in Paradise. Jonathon, welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me, guys. Happy to
We
be
are
here.
so excited to have you here. Before we get into this episode with Jonathon, a little housekeeping. Love to See It was nominated for a Signal Award, which is an award for podcasts. We were named as a finalist in the category of Buddy Podcast. And part of this awards is that there is a listener's choice. So we would absolutely love if you would go to signalaward.com, click vote now, find the Buddy Podcast category, and place your vote for Love to See It with Emma and Claire. We will be forever grateful to you.
Yes, we will. Please vote. I love awards.
First of all, are you excited to discuss an episode of television that you are not present in?
Yes. Yeah. Hell yeah.
When's the last
to
time you got to
watch it.
do that?
Joan's season, which is why I have such an affinity for Joan. Her and I, she's like my TV mom. I always tell people that. I'm like, I just
Oh,
got
I love
so
that.
emotionally attached to your show. And she was just like, I love that. I love you. And I'm like, yeah, no, me too. Thank you for taking this away.
And we're back in the golden part of the franchise, so that must
Yep.
feel very comforting. So you watched Joan's season. Did you watch season 1 of Golden Bachelor with Gary?
I didn't. So
No.
it's such a crazy
Oh.
take. Before I was on reality TV, I'd never seen it before, ever. I just didn't watch. I think I watched like Duck Dynasty back in the day, like one time.
Oh, wow. What a
I think
throwback.
that's about
Haven't
Yeah.
thought about Duck Dynasty in a while.
Yeah. I mean, unless you
Yeah.
count like singing competition shows, I love those. Like I love The
Sure.
Voice, I love
Yeah.
American Idol. I love I watch those religiously. Other than that, like people dating.
That's actually very common, I think, for men who go on reality dating shows. And then we get to see you have a crash course in like the way that this world works live
Yep.
in front of us, which is sometimes messy. So we did see that in addition to Joan being your TV mom, we saw that you were kind of a fan favorite with the Golden Ladies in Paradise. Did filming a show with them kind of change how you saw the Golden Bachelor or the Golden Bachelorette or your mindset around watching this season?
No, I think the biggest thing, like I love them so much. I love all the people on Joan's season as well. All the Golden guys were awesome. But getting to meet the Golden women, it really reiterates a point that I think Mel obviously makes in this first episode of being like, it's not necessarily about age, it's about spirit, and spirit doesn't have an age. And you get on to Paradise and you get to meet these women for face value and actually who they are. You're like, wow, okay. Like these older women are actually here to have fun, and like you can tell that things don't just like fall off because you get older. Like they're as spontaneous and spunky as the girls our age. So that was probably the best part about getting to meet them on the show. And they kind of have game too, which kind of
Yeah.
puts me in the mood.
And we see that in this
Yeah.
episode as well. Like they're
Oh
bringing
my
it.
God. I'm like taking notes from some of these women. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
aspire to the level of confidence. How were you feeling about Mel before watching this episode? Had you heard his podcast snafu?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So before I'd met him, I just in my mind I was like, what a dumb thing to say. Honestly, like
Yeah.
that's insane. Um, but then I've had the opportunity to meet him a couple times before the show aired, and he's a very stoic man at the least. Like he's just very he thinks about what he's gonna say and he says it, but he doesn't say too much. He doesn't say too little. He just says right then and there what he means. And I'm like, I think this man just potentially had made a mistake. So I kind of let it go so I could go into this episode like open-minded as possible. And then by the time the intro started happening, I was like, okay, I'm hearing more from him than I've ever heard before, and it doesn't sound like he's the kind of guy that actually like judges that. It felt more like locker room talk, which
Ugh,
if you played
locker room
sports,
talk.
it's
It's
just
back.
A
yeah.
scourge on our nation,
Yeah,
Jonathan.
you guys have to stop
I don't
talking. There
I
should be
don't know
no
what that
talking
is.
allowed in the locker room. It's clearly a bad influence. Men shouldn't talk to each other unless women are there to keep them, in check.
I don't disagree. I was raised by a single mom. I know better. But in this situation, I think let's call it barbershop talk.
Yeah, yeah,
Barbershop
yeah.
talk. Barbershop talk. I think he was just shooting the shit with the boys and
Yeah.
said something that happened to be recorded for everybody to hear.
Yeah, we
Yeah, it
were
was like
thinking,
a real boomer
maybe
move. You got to
we're
know. People can
Mhm.
listen to podcasts
yeah,
now.
just
Oh
because
yeah.
it's a sports podcast doesn't mean that the Bachelor Nation people aren't going to hear about it.
Yep.
Yeah, he definitely, you can see the stoicism in this episode for sure. And you can see that he really wants to show other sides of himself. I realized that, like, in the hustle and bustle of the summer, we were also covering Love Island for the first time, which is intense. I hadn't really looked into Mel much aside from this, like,
Same.
scandal that was brought to my attention. So I really did feel like I was kind of meeting him for the first time in this
Yeah.
intro.
Yeah, I feel like we learned a lot. So let's just get into the episode and we can discuss kind of how we feel about Mel as we go through the episode. So we open on Mel standing overlooking a crowded beach, watching the sunset. Real classic Bachelor B-roll, if you ask me. Always staring out at something, looking pensive.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And he says in voiceover, "It doesn't matter how old you are, falling in love never stops feeling magical."
Like,
He's
the
only
first words are on theme. He's like, it doesn't matter how old you are, to be clear. He says he's been in love once and he'd give anything to feel it again. And he says, I'm excited to meet the women, but I'm nervous they're going to have misconceptions about me, which is when I realized that they were immediately going to, like, address this very directly.
which was smart.
We,
I don't think
yeah,
there was another option.
No.
had to be done.
No.
So text flashes on screen as they are doing, like, drone B-roll, I think, of his neighborhood. June 4th, 2025. Mel is interviewed on a podcast. It's very dramatic. It's sort of like true crime documentary. And they play the comments, the controversial comments from the podcast. And then we see our first glimpses of, like, the Golden Ladies getting glam for night one. And we hear some of their reactions. One of them says she was offended. Another says, well, we all say dumb things sometimes, so I need to formulate my own opinion. And another one said what I'm sure a lot of them were thinking, which is, if he's looking for someone in another age category, why am I wasting my time? And I think by the time that you past the age of 30 as a woman, you are aware that a lot of men your age will end up not committing to you and ending up with a woman a lot younger than you. So, like, that does feel like a very present possibility that you're kind of having your time wasted.
Yeah, I do feel like these women were put in a tough position. It's like, obviously the show was about to film. Like,
Yeah.
what are you supposed to think heading into this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those
that-
things. It's like their biggest fear already, and you
Right.
just
Yeah.
reiterated it for everybody to
Yeah,
kind of
like,
go
I
into
want to
this
date a
situation.
45-year-old. Okay, sir, but this show is about women in their 60s and 70s. So
Yeah.
kind of
That's
is
it.
what it is.
I will say
Everyone-
though, it kind of sets you up to be like at the lowest point. You know what I mean? So there's only upward trajectory from here. You know what I mean? Like
The
that is
people-
a
So true.
huge positive. Like the fall from grace could be tremendous, but he's starting down here. Like we're just building up. We're
I
building
Honestly,
up.
that's
you're
really
coming at
true.
this having experienced like the opposite, where you were like, everyone put me on a pedestal. That was too much.
It was
Set the bar
terrifying.
low and surpass it.
No, that's so true. A lot of men in Bachelor Nation end up rising too high before the bubble pops and the tumble happens at the end. Happens to a lot of Bachelor leads. Maybe everyone loves a comeback story. Maybe Mel is in the best position.
Yeah. He hit his
Mel-
work before the show even started, which is perfect.
Yeah, how much worse can it get? He then says many
Don't
words.
jinx him.
Unfortunately, none of the words he says exactly convince me that he is now attracted to women over 60, but he's hitting some of the right notes, like, I messed up and I'm sorry. I think we have a clip.
I messed up. I was wrong. I replay it in my head a lot. I have regrets, and I'm sorry for all the things I've said on the podcast. I know what a lot of people are thinking about me, but that's not who I am.
Honestly, I'm writing this down for the day that I have to say I'm sorry for all of the things I said on the podcast.
Yeah, and you just say, I know what people are thinking. That's not
Yeah.
who I am. And don't
All
get
of us
any more specific than that.
all of us who have said words on a podcast can relate to the feeling of having to say I'm sorry for what I said on the podcast.
So true. This means that we need to learn more about who Mel is because as you said, Claire, like I think both of us had no idea who this man was outside of these bad things he said on a podcast. Turns out Mel is a boy dad, unlike
Yes.
Gary, who was a girl dad.
Two completely different genders.
Exactly.
Yeah. He loves being a dad to Lucas and Andre, who are, I think, about 20 and 19, based on the information he gave. And he's also a proud son. His dad was very proud to have a son, and presumably 2 more sons and a daughter, based on his obituary, which I did find when I was doing my extended research. And he wanted to be a dad like his father. And this is when we learn about Mel's childhood, and the Jackson 5 starts to play. We're headed back
So
to
cool.
Detroit. So good. Good vibe.
Yeah, very good vibes. I was
I
like, I
didn't
want to go
realize,
to
is he
Detroit.
like a quarter black or
Yeah,
half?
I had not known this.
Would
Apparently,
not have guessed
his
that.
Yeah.
father, I looked into this a little bit. His father was also an athlete named Walter Owens, who played in the Negro American League in Detroit for several years. He ended up, I think, integrating a team in Detroit later in his career
That's so
that had previously
interesting.
been all white. So, like, yeah, that is an aspect of his background that I did not know about. And so he talks about like growing up amid like Motown. His dad was also a teacher in the public school system. And Diana Ross lived across the alley from him.
Love this fun fact. I would be dining out on that fun fact for the
Oh, it'd
rest of
come
my
up in
life.
conversation casually once a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mel, you know, it does
it
come up
does.
more than once in this episode. So Mel is
Yeah.
just like us.
They're like, I'm sorry, you live next to Diana Ross. We need to have that kind of be the central thing that people know about you.
Yeah.
So we see him like go back to the old neighborhood, like greet an old friend who's like, oh, this guy's a legend around here. And he talks about becoming obsessed with football as a child. We see him coaching like a youth football team. And he talks about how he ended up going to University of Michigan, which then later at the University of Michigan sports podcast would end up being his downfall. So, you know, in a sense, maybe the butterfly effect here. But he had a great time there and then was drafted by the LA Rams and had a very successful career. And he ultimately, after football, became a lawyer. Then in 2020, during COVID, his dad passed away and his wife filed for divorce. And he says, she had found someone new. I was shocked. This was like, I was surprised that there was such a direct, like, my wife left me for another. That's something that I don't think I had seen in
No.
what I had read about the divorce.
I will also say his wife did give some quotes to the Daily Mail that were not that flattering.
Yeah, it sounds like it was not a fun divorce.
I feel like divorces are just messy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would pick one side or another when it comes
I
to
mean,
that.
we can't
Yeah.
You're
let
like, I don't know
we
what
don't
happened behind
know.
closed doors. You're like, they
No,
both say
certainly
that.
not. Certainly not. But it feels that, yeah, it was somewhat of a contentious divorce. Very difficult. Again, impossible to litigate because we are not in their relationship. But Claire, you also did note that he had quite a large age gap with his
Yeah.
ex-wife.
His
And so
ex-wife is
that,
about 20 years younger than him. So it does seem like that is what he has consistently in the past
dated. Yeah, that like
dated.
actually colored for me some of his like, oh, his dating experience has exclusively essentially been with younger women in his adult life.
Yeah. And then you're thinking, oh, well, now suddenly I'm going to start dating women my age. I don't think so. But this is the perfect opportunity to give it a try. So he says since the divorce, he hasn't really dated. We see his son hitting a baseball and telling Mel they've never seen him date. He's just been so focused on raising his kids. but they're getting older and more independent, and they want him to be happy.
Very sweet.
So next we see some video of his like golden promo shoot as he admits that of course he's getting older. He has aches and pains. I'm sure he does after a long football career. Like that's gotta take its toll. I have aches and pains and I've never played football and I'm 37.
I know. Yeah. You're like, I have
37?
aches and pains
Oh
from
yeah.
like
I've got my
walking.
glamour filter on. He
Oh,
sits
you
with
don't-
his sons.
Yeah, you don't know, Jonathan. We're old.
We're old.
I swear to God, I thought you were maybe 30.
That's so
Aw.
nice. She's
You can
37.
come
I'm
back- you
I'm
can come
38.
back whenever you want.
Are you?
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
sits
you're
with-
you're invited back every episode.
I honestly, I thought we were all like the same age. To be 100%
well,
honest with you, I was like,
it's age isn't it's just a number.
Yeah,
and
that's right. You guys'
Spirit
spirit
has
is
no age.
29.
Yeah, my
Reality
spirit is
television
29.
analysis has no age.
So he is with his sons on the couch and he's like, I'm nervous about this. And they're like, you don't get nervous. You can do this. And he hugs them and tells them that he loves them. And I was like, oh, he's a soft boy dad who's raising young men who can voice their feelings of love. That's positive.
We do love to see that.
And then we see him donning his night one suit as he says, age doesn't matter. When you walk out, I'm not thinking age. I'm looking and feeling for connections. It's the chemistry. I hope these women don't judge me on what they heard, but they probably do. So I'm nervous. I messed up and I hope they're going to give me a chance to redeem myself. At every opportunity, most of what we hear from Mel is just like, to be clear, age is just a number. And I don't care and I'm sorry. And I'm sure that after this episode, he'll be able to move past that.
Yeah.
But this is kind of the theme of night one. Mel exits the limo. Jesse Palmer greets him. And I had the thought before they said it, but Mel does look like an older version of Jesse Palmer.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
will say
that's a
the
good
the
future.
shoe roast was he literally said, "What are those?" Pretty much to the UFOs. I don't know if you know what UFOs are, but they're like
No.
orthopedic shoes, and they're
Oh.
comfortable as hell.
They
But he
looked
wears it
very
every time
comfortable.
I've met him. He always has them on. I didn't realize he had a black pair, a white pair, a gray pair. I was like, "There's no way Jesse."
I was like, do I
roasted
need
those
do
because
I
I
need
noticed
this?
them the first time I met him.
Should we all be getting in on?
Honestly,
the-
yes. UFOs
I mean-
are super. UFOs should just sponsor all three of us because they're comfortable as hell.
Yeah, we're waiting.
I
Yeah.
love comfortable shoes. I think that like this actually, in the moment, I was like, Jesse, let the man wear his comfortable shoes. He's
Mhm.
66 and he's played football for like 4 decades. But maybe this was actually a setup for Mel to get a lucrative UFO sponsorship, which I
do support that. I do
people
really
getting
support
their
that. Also, I
sponsorships.
support comfortable footwear on television. Like, this is a long night.
Yeah.
I wonder how these women are doing it. They're like,
So long.
Oh
This
my
one seemed longer
God.
than the rest too. By the time I got to the end, I could see that it was morning. I was like, the sun just started to come out.
I know.
Probably
I really
6-ish
thought they
when
were gonna
we
like
finished.
let the Goldens go to bed a little earlier than normal, but no.
No, they were
No,
like,
that
you
was
can
a
sleep when you're
long
dead.
night.
Yeah. No, usually, like, I also think they kind of keep the chat scenes indoors after
Yep.
morning or something. Like,
Yeah.
to see them out in full daylight having a conversation, like the cocktail party was still going, was wild. I don't think I've
Like,
ever
you
seen
poor
that.
things.
I know. They looked visibly exhausted, but
I felt
first
bad
he-
for them in that moment.
yeah.
I literally, because I mean, I remember what my night was like. I was also like half naked too, in
Oh,
their hospital
right.
gown.
Yeah.
So
I
it was
forgot.
cold. I had no sleep. There was a whole lot of things going on.
That's my
So I'm
nightmare.
like, these poor women are just,
Yeah.
they're probably in bed by 9.
No,
and
you
got
had
them
more of
up
a
till
similar
9 a.m.
experience to the women, I think, because they're often kind of
Yeah.
essentially half naked. You're out there in a little dress, it
Yep.
gets quite chilly.
My back's exposed, ass and
Yeah.
all.
And suddenly it's 5 a.m. You're like, please,
No,
I need a nap.
couldn't be me. So before we meet all the ladies, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, our first limo exit.
And we are back, and we meet our first woman out of the limo, Cindy, 60, a retired biomedical engineer. And I feel like Cindy is a front runner.
I mean,
Yeah,
they
right.
know. They put that first out of the limo person. They know it's going to be a strong contender.
Yeah, it's going to be a key player. She's like in bright turquoise, and she says she's Cindy. like Cinderella.
Because
And
who's heard of the name Cindy? You gotta
you have
give
to
a
give
little
context.
mnemonic. Yeah.
Obviously. I will
She's
say
like,
her energy and her confidence right off the jump, though, you could tell Mel was kind of eating it up. Be like,
Oh, Mel
okay,
was
hot
down.
start. Yeah.
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 Well, my
She
other
definitely goes far.
takeaway from looking up Mel's ex and like seeing who he responded to in this episode was like, I think Mel kind of likes the sultry brunette a little bit.
Hmm.
He was definitely vibing with some of the
I agree.
brunettes. And she thinks that Mel might be her Prince Charming. And after she goes in, we hear her say, I know he said those things on the podcast, but in my opinion, he deserves a second chance to prove himself. And I think Mel is going to want to prove himself to Cindy. Next is Carol Freeman wearing her nephew and client's Dodgers number bedazzled on a jacket over her shoulders.
I
Her
am
personality
obsessed.
is my nephew is Freddie Freeman.
I'm so obsessed with this because I was like, the real winner of this season of Golden Bachelor is Freddie Freeman.
He's
Like
the main character of the episode.
I mean, he gets footage of his gameplay on this show. He doesn't have to do anything. What a good
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
His
Everyone's
aunt
going
is
to be trying
working.
to get their family managers on The Bachelor going forward. In an intro package, she laughs that she's sorry to all the people she's lied to about her age, but she's actually 63. She spends a lot of time around young people and feels very young. And she talks about how she helps her nephew's family with travel, taking care of the kids, etc. We weren't quite sure what a family manager was, so this was actually very informative. And she's like, I love sports. I live near Mel. It's perfect. As she walks inside, this is when Mel sees the back of her jacket with the number and the Dodgers insignia on it. And he says, oh, Freddie Freeman, big Dodgers fan. And I was like, say what you will about Mel. He legit knows his force.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, I don't even need to have this explained to me.
Also, just big LA guy.
I
Oh,
was going
yeah.
to say, yeah, he's a.
I mean, that's the local hero. Diane from Wasilla is next. And
obsessed with her.
we have a clip of her intro gambit.
How you doing?
Hi, Mel.
How are
I'm
you?
good. How are you? My name is Diane,
Hi, Diane.
and I play women's hockey. And you know what, Mel? I got to ask you, what the fuck was that interview about on that podcast?
You know, I sincerely apologize. It was unfair, unkind.
Oh, okay.
Will you give me a second chance and let me earn it back?
Stick with me. I'll keep you out of the penalty box.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
I love Diane. I want her to like read me a bedtime story. Like if she would,
Right.
if she could like record a sleepy time podcast, I'd be all over that.
I know. Well, she was a longtime educator, and she really brings that like energy and warmth. But I love that
So
she had clearly
sweet.
planned this intro, and then when Mel starts apologizing, she's like giggling. Like she's not even like, she's so amped up to do the hockey pun about the question and then be like, I'll keep you out of the penalty box. That when he's apologizing, she's just like, yeah, that's not really what this is about.
Yeah.
She's like, I got to
He's
do
like,
the second
okay,
part of my
okay.
joke. But yeah, sure, you can have a second chance.
Yeah.
She also gets a great intro package. We see her like playing hockey, doing other active things. I think
Yeah,
she's like
so cool.
run multiple like triathlons or
I
something.
think that's her. Yeah. She's like, when you're aging, you got to move it or lose it. And she says she loves Wasilla. She does not mention whether she has met Sarah Palin, unfortunately. So that remains an open question. She had a very happy marriage until her husband had a terrible stroke about 4 years ago. And she says she's here to prove that attractiveness and spunk doesn't end at 60. I also want to note that she's the only woman with like short hair this season, like a pixie, like shorter
Yeah.
than a bob. And I think that makes her technically this season's Becca Martinez.
I see it. I think
She's
we need
bringing
more
that energy.
pixie cut representation on this franchise as a whole. So thank
Yeah.
you, Diane, for your service.
Hair length diversity is so important.
Do you guys have short hair?
No.
No,
Oh.
no. I have in the past. I've had short hair a lot, but now it's
It's just
long
an inclusive
because
channel. You want to.
Yeah.
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 But
We
I
just
want
like diversity,
people to,
Jonathan.
I still support pixie cuts, even though I no longer have one. Terry, the cosmetic dentist, has arrived with a ventriloquist puppet, which is This season's sort of funky, fresh twist on Chantal O slapping Brad Womack. I don't know if, Jonathan, you probably don't know this lore, but about 10 years ago, there was more than that, like 15 years
More.
ago now.
Yeah.
There was a bachelor named Brad who didn't pick someone at the end of his season, shocking the nation. Then he came back for a second season, and all the women were mad and were like, why are you back for another chance when you broke those women's hearts? You know, how can we know you'll take it seriously this time? And one of the
He was
women
the
came out of the
Bachelor
limo
twice.
and
Yes.
slapped him. He was the bachelor twice. Chantal slapped him and said that's like for every, woman in America. And she ended up being his first runner-up.
So
So it
Oh,
worked.
shit. Was it like a good slap too?
It seemed somewhere in between a completely fake slap and it was sort of like a movie slap, you know, like, sir,
It's
how
playful.
dare you, sir?
yeah,
Sort of
playful,
thing.
not
Yeah.
like full on physical violence.
Yeah.
No,
his
not
head
actually
didn't snap
angry,
back.
Yeah.
but for the
Yeah.
bit, like it was a good slap.
Yeah. I don't support violence against bachelors at all, to be clear. But that is what happened that season. And this is sort of almost what Terry is doing a riff on here. She
Yeah.
has the little puppet say, I bet you didn't expect all these women over 60 to look so hot. And he's like, yeah. And she says, and I bet you weren't expecting this either. And then the puppet slaps him.
And then
Okay,
she
now that
says
makes
that
more
was for
sense.
all women over 60, which did feel
Yes.
very much like a Chantal callback.
That's for the old heads, like those of us who were watching in like 2000, what, like 12?
Also, Terry's the one in the green dress, correct?
One of the cosmetic dentists. Yeah, I think she's in like the bright green
I think
dress.
so.
And
Yeah.
the dark hair.
Stunning. She
Yeah,
looked
Very
great.
stunning.
dramatic cheekbones. Yeah.
And
Stunning. I
doing
was like,
the
she's 71.
Ventriloquism. Oh
Again,
my god.
insane.
Yeah.
I felt like she might be nervous because I could definitely see that her mouth was very much moving while she was doing her ventriloquism. And I know that she's an experienced ventriloquist, but it must be hard to give the performance of a lifetime in that setting. Mel apologizes, and in the moment is when she says that it was for all women over 60 because he's never been exposed to women like us. Which I guess means like women over 60 who are this hot and glamorous and cool.
We're not normal women over 60.
They're
We're-
they're the cream of the crop. Carla is next, the model and midlife influencer. She's looking extremely hot. She's got her locks kind of like twisted back and a hot pink gown.
I could not believe that she got sent home this episode. I was devastated.
Well, almost everyone got sent home this
That's true.
episode.
Half of them
Yeah,
got
they
sent home this
eliminated
episode.
a lot.
Yeah, I think it was
Two-
10.
I mean, 2 rose ceremonies, 1 episode.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That was a lot. She twirls for him and says she's here to break his stereotypes about women over 60. And in Her in the Moment, she's like, we have sex, orgasms, everything you can imagine. Alexandra, the luxury yacht saleswoman, tells him she is over 60. Can he handle her? She tests this by kissing him. He really doomed himself to just a limo exit night of everyone being like, well, I'm over 60.
What do you
Anything
think,
wanna say
Mel?
about it?
You think they would have like cut it off after like 6 people? No, they
Very
just
did
let
a
it
little
fly.
bit more.
Like, no, keep going. Kick
Yeah.
him while he's down.
This
kick
is
him in
his
the dirt.
penance for all of
Yeah.
America.
Shame.
He like
Shame.
had to like
Yeah.
take the little flogging and then like, okay, we can move past it.
Yeah, I wonder if the
Yep.
calculus was like American women watching this will want to see him like really
Eat some
take his
shit.
licks on
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, nope, enough is not enough. Keep
Yeah,
going.
keep going.
Who says what enough is?
Yeah.
Debbie, the celebrity fitness instructor, says she wants to be his most valuable player. And in her intro package, we see lots of her working out. And then she talks about how she made Slim in 6, her fitness videos for Beachbody. And then she says that because she was so focused on her career, she's never been married.
I actually love that
But-
we get at least one woman who is in her 60s and like hasn't been married. It's what we've noted on like the Golden franchise as a whole. It's very rare that you see someone who hasn't
Yeah.
been married or doesn't have kids. And so I liked
Yeah.
seeing like Debbie has a bit of a different story.
She's
Agreed.
beautiful too. And it's almost one of those like stories where you're like kind of shocked. You're like, how?
I know. I
How?
really wanted
And
to
it's
hear more actually about this long relationship that she alludes to that like ended in her mid 40s. She talks about it
Mhm.
later in the episode. I was
Mm.
like, yeah, I wonder what, I don't know. I wonder what happened there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we might see more from Debbie and hear more about that later in the
Yeah, she's
season.
too
Yeah.
much of a relatable story to not kind of hone in on. I think a lot of people, I definitely my age and in our generation too, is just like we're so focused on growing and life is expensive and this and that. And like you just kind of like don't only focus on finding somebody, you focus on building yourself up. And it seems like that's a lot of her story too. And I think it'd be something like really, I don't know, really intriguing to learn
Yeah,
more
I
about. And I think a lot of
agree.
people relate to it.
absolutely. Yeah, it's something that you don't often see highlighted on this show is just like that particular trajectory. Peg comes out in full bomb squad gear and places a bomb on the ground, and she starts yelling at him to stand back. And then it sort of like fizzles with a little like pew. And I was like, oh, that's it, I guess. But it was supposed to do something else. Unfortunately, we don't know what, because even though they show the full like reset of the bomb, again, it doesn't go off. I don't know what the bomb was supposed to do. I don't think
Rough.
that it should have like exploded
Rough for
too
Peg, but
much.
honestly, she recovers well. At a certain
Yeah.
point, Mel is just like, I think we gotta
Yeah. He's
keep
like, why
it
don't we just
moving.
hug?
Yeah, it's fine.
In her intro package, she talks about how scary and intense it is to work in the bomb squad. We also see her unicycle and dance. Peg is just kind of like
I
a
do
Renaissance
everything.
woman. She does everything.
No,
She's a
Peg was like,
badass.
yeah, I'm a former firefighter and I worked for the bomb squad. And then later she's like, I was a professional dancer as well. I'm like, Peg, what don't you do?
It's intimidating. It's like you're making me feel bad about
Honestly, a
myself.
ton of these women are just badass. They have cool jobs. They're talented. They're very active. Like,
No, it's crazy. I feel terrible about myself.
yeah.
like, I'm like, I need to
But
get
that's
some
okay.
hobbies and become an expert at
Yeah,
them.
that's fine. We're just going to go into therapy and then take some unicycling classes.
Yeah.
She tells Mel that she defused bombs for a living, and Mel is like, oh, really? In a way that I did not think was effusive enough for someone who just found out that his gorgeous date diffused bombs for a
I would be
living.
like, wait, we have to pause. Please tell me more. I need all the stories. I will
I
say
do-
Mel seems quite into Peg later on.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jonathan, that he's very stoic. Like,
Yes.
there are many times when I was like, he does not seem interested in what this woman is saying. And then he's like, what an incredible woman she is. I
Yeah.
can't wait to get to know her more. And I'm like, oh.
I think for me, I just noticed that it's such a change from Gary and like his style in season 1. He was like such an emotionally effusive person, like led with an incredible amount of emotional vulnerability. So I'm sort of recalibrating my expectations watching Mel because, yeah, he is stoic and clipped.
And he's like a block of man, you know?
Yeah.
He's like a very muscular former footballer, just like, and like doesn't
He doesn't emote
He
a
doesn't
lot.
emote much. He doesn't even like sort of like move his body very much. And it's just like very sturdy
Yeah.
block of response. And yeah, you have to kind of get to know how he is. Jerry comes out next.
I love Jerry. Jerry like popped for me on screen immediately. She's in a sparkly gown, a little retro nurse's hat. She winks at Mel and she's like, I can take care of all your needs.
Let's do a little sexy nurse. She is the one who owns and runs a senior care home, and she talks in her intro package about how she started it over 20 years ago with her husband and then took over as CEO on the anniversary of his death. He died of an aortic aneurysm at 47, left her with 2 daughters and a son to raise. This really hit me. I not to make it about me, but this is kind of a gender flip version of what happened in my family. My mom died of an aortic aneurysm in her 40s, and I have 2 brothers. And I was like, oh my God,
Jerry is your dad.
Yeah, Jerry
Yeah.
is like my dad. And she's so seems so composed and loving and just elegant and has a beautiful smile. And I just cried through her whole intro package. I was like,
Claire.
I want her to find happiness.
Me too. She also just really popped. My first thought was if Jerry doesn't win, I could see her being Golden Bachelorette. She just had that kind of immediate energy, like a really compelling story. She like really stood out on camera. And I was just very excited to learn more about her.
She gives me similar energy to like Gary from Joan's season. That was also on Paradise. Just
Oh,
like very sweet, very like grounded, and was like able to just like talk to anybody and just like bring a comfort and love to any room. She kind of gave me
Yeah,
that
I see
energy.
it.
and their names are
I know, that was even
very
crazier.
similar.
There's a lot of
Gary
Jerrys
and
and
Gary.
Garys in the Golden Universe.
There's just many spellings of the name Gary,
And
or
Jerry.
in this case, Jerry.
And
Yeah.
Jerry.
And they're all very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also wanted to note that Jerry's from Rockville, Maryland, also where Joan is from, near where I grew up. Rockville does well in the Golden
Yeah.
Universe.
There's
She's fun to
something-
watch.
Something in the water in Rockville. So then we get some quick intros. Lisa, the like state park employee, comes out in a pink and white floral dress and is very effusive and nervous. She's like, I can't wait to meet you inside. And then she's like, wait, no. And then she's so flustered, she asks for a retake. She's like, this isn't going to be on TV, right? She seemed to me like she was going to be a great character. Like she
And then she just
pops,
disappeared.
disappears. Maya, the 58-year-old, is next. And we were like, obviously, Maya is his only real option because she's under 60. Plus, they live just a few minutes apart. And she says that she feels fate brought them together. But she does not really get any screen time aside from that this episode. Nicole, the yoga teacher, throws him a like Michigan-hued football and says, this might be the most important pass you ever caught. Monica P., the other cosmetic dentist, brought him a golden toothbrush.
Monica P., that's rough. The second cosmetic dentist and the second Monica.
Yeah, that is it's tough. Robin, the winery owner, brought him a bottle from her vineyard and hopes they age together like fine wine. And then we have a little like twin interlude. So first we see Sandra from season 1. And he's like, I know you. You're a veteran. So he did watch season 1, I guess. And she says she's actually here to introduce him to her twin sister. And Andra emerges in a gold dress.
Stunning.
They do look very similar, but with the glasses and the hairstyle is different. So I didn't like initially clock her in the cast bios until I saw that they were twins.
Also, she's 77, right?
I mean,
The genetics with
What?
these two. Unreal. Absolutely
Absurd.
unreal. Also, I was like, I can't believe she also just went home immediately.
I know.
It's a bummer.
I think she is the oldest person in the cast. So in one sense, that is a familiar story of women going on the show. Two blonde twins then emerge in mini dresses and unfurl a banner reading #1 draft pick.
And we knew that these were the TikTok twins who nominated their mom to go on the show.
Yes.
Were
and
they twins?
they're like TikTok famous twins. They make TikTok content together. Then they're Amy's daughters. And so she like makes content with them and manages their career.
Yeah, she's a momager.
Yeah, this is like an area of social media content creation that I don't pay much attention to. The kinds of people who are just like, I'm famous for doing skits about being twins and I post TikToks about it. I don't
No,
engage with
I
that.
learned about these twins when we were doing our cast bios episode. And they
Yes.
were like, she has twin daughters who are famous on TikTok.
Being twins is just a career path now. Like, I wonder what that's like. Like, it used to be that you had to go off and like have your separate jobs, and now you can just be like,
Nope.
we're famously twins.
Yep. There's literally
Yeah.
conventions for it now, too.
Really?
Yeah, no, aren't there
There are
like full
twin
weekends?
conventions. Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, it is a very unique life experience, and I can understand wanting to connect with other twins. Good for them. I'm not jealous that I don't have a twin. The
Cool.
momager, Amy, is behind the banner. It's like one of those banners that the high school football team breaks through to run onto the
See,
field
I think
at
the problem
homecoming.
is you need to have some force behind.
Right, you need to be an entire football team in a helmet and pads,
I need to run.
and you need to run. And she's kind of trying to poke
She's
at it.
poking it.
like it's made of tissue paper and it's just gonna shred. Jonathon, as a former athlete,
Yeah.
what do they make these things out of? I thought it would be paper, but it looks like it's made out of like plastic.
I'm pretty sure it's made of construction paper, honestly.
Really?
I didn't know that was a big issue. You know what? Maybe she was playing the route of like, oh, I'm just a girl, Mel. Come help me.
Yeah,
Like,
Mel.
you know what I mean?
I
Make her
can't
feel like,
help it.
yeah, I'm Mel. I got
Yeah.
this. Like,
She's
yeah,
like, I got
whatever
this,
whatever
don't
you need,
worry,
sweetheart.
babe.
Yeah.
Save me from the football banner, Mel. No, she's like, I'm so embarrassed, but like, yeah, unless you really ran at that thing, I don't think it was gonna tear. So he tears it for her, and the twins roll up the banner and get in the limo, and they're like, Mel, we'll see you at hometowns, and also no give backs. So I guess he has to marry her.
No gives backs is crazy.
Like, how will you survive? Your mom is like an integral part of your business. He can give her back. While Mel rhapsodizes about how in 66 years he'd never dream of getting to meet so many beautiful, elegant women who are exceeding all his expectations, we get some quick intros. We see Susie wearing a dress festooned with like a giant flower on the front and back of the bodice. She has a compass to lead him back to her. Really threw me actually to see another Susie, because the name Susie on this franchise has become this like
Powerful.
talismanic utterance. I was like, Susie's here? Wait, no, it's a different woman named Susie.
Mhm.
There can only be one.
Tracy is wearing the black and white hat from her bios, and she brought a hat for him. And even in real life, she kind of looks like a vintage photograph. It's almost unsettling.
I agree. I was like, I feel like I'm looking at a vintage advertisement.
Right. Like she was photoshopped in.
No, she's real.
Monica B is a flight attendant and can take him around the world and back again. Roxanne says she's a Texarican, and she also has a hat for Mel. Hers is a cowboy hat.
He's going to have a collection of nice hats after this.
What's a Texarican also?
I believe a Texarican
Is that like Puerto Rican Texan? No.
That was sort of
That was my thought.
assumption.
That's
but we
that's
can
where
cut
my
it
mind
once
went
we-
too, but I didn't want to make assumptions.
Right. So let's look it up.
Let's Google it.
So it seems like we did a little research, but as we all suspected, it's kind of like the blend of Texan and Puerto Rican culture. So that is like her background. Lily has a bouquet of lilies. We referenced on the cast bios that she looks just like Rita Wilson. We learned she actually
She's
is Rita
her
Wilson's
sister.
sister. And she gets real short shrift during her time on the
And
show.
it's like, how dare you?
How dare you?
dare you do this to Tom Hanks' sister-in-law?
Incredibly rude. Mylene brought a gold bottle of champagne to pop for a toast. And then we meet Cheryl, who rides up on a motorcycle with like big boots on.
And this works so well on Mel.
Yeah, we're really getting a sense of Mel's type. It's like gorgeous,
Brunette,
long hair,
sense of adventure.
adventurous. She tells him that she's the girl who takes the road less traveled, and if he's ready for a wild ride, she's his girl. And in her intro package, she says she was a tomboy who would just be like out riding her bike in snowstorms, and she's from a big Greek family. Now that all the women have arrived, which makes Cheryl the last one, so again, someone that they really thought would be a front runner, I think, accurately.
Yeah, Cindy and Cheryl first and last, and that feels very accurate from what we see.
So Mel heads in, and Cheryl gets to hand him his glass of champagne, and he tells them that they are wonderful. And he mentions that he was questioned about the podcast by some of them, and he says it was insensitive and unfair, and he had to wonder, what the puck was I thinking? And Diane, God bless her, takes no shit, because immediately she's like, that was my line. Like,
I mean, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, this is rude. This is like when you're at like a meeting at work and your like male colleague hears you make a joke and then it's like, I got this.
Yeah, let
See,
me say
I
that
thought it
again.
was sweet because I'm like, oh, he's giving reference back to her.
No, you got to
because
give credit.
The puck reference only makes sense to one person in that room. And I feel like if I was her, I'd be like, oh, that was sweet. He remembered my joke. Of the 20 plus women that had lines,
I mean, he did
he uses
remember the
mine.
joke, but none of
I
the
see-
rest of them knew.
I see your perspective, but it didn't seem like he was like directing it to her at all. It's more
Yeah.
like he was like, I had this funny thought.
And afterwards, he's
But
like,
it's
"You're
true.
right.
It doesn't
that
make
is."
sense to
It
anyone
would make sense
else.
too. They'd be like,
Right.
Zero.
"Punk, what the hell do you mean, punk?"
I
So
think
why
he
are
was
you
confused.
stealing a joke that wouldn't even make sense to everyone
And
else?
see, that's why my mind goes, "Oh, it's a sweet callback to her." Like that's
See,
that's
you're
so
more generous
generous.
than me because I'm just like, he's not even doing a good job stealing jokes.
yeah, that'd be a terrible joke to steal. Exactly.
But and then when she's like, hey, that's my line, he's sort of like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm like, you weren't even looking at her. Whatever. Who can say what's in the heart of Mel? He does acknowledge it, that it was her joke, and he hugs her. And then he asks for all of their forgiveness and to earn it back. I don't know what it is that, like, their openness to dating him or respect or something.
Trust, maybe.
Trust.
Yeah, he did
The-
keep leaving that part open ended.
Yeah.
Earn it.
whatever, whatever it is.
Whatever
I
it
do
is
want to
you
earn
Mine
back.
need.
thinks it is. That's what I want.
Yeah, that's what I'll be earning back.
The women do seem pretty relieved that he is addressing it directly. And this is when he tells them that spirit has no age and age is just a number. And he raises a glass to love, happiness, and fun. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we will get into Mel's mingling with the women.
And we are back, and we see Mel talk to Cindy first, though he references that he had tried to do it before midnight and seems to have failed. So I guess we're supposed to assume that it's like already 1 a.m. at this point.
Yeah, and they're just starting to have one-on-one conversations. They talk about their kids, and he says he doesn't find parenting to be hard work. It's love work. And Cindy loves this. She's like, good dads are the hottest. I have to say that, again, I'm not a generous person because when I hear a dad say parenting isn't hard work, what I hear is because my wife did the hard parts and I just played catch. Maybe that's not true. And he does seem very close to his sons, but there are a lot of hard parts of parenting that sometimes even very involved dads are just kind of like, that's not for me.
Maybe
I'm
the
gonna
later
play
years of
football.
boys is easier.
Yeah. It
Like
seems like a
18
lot
and
of what he
20-year-old.
does with them is play sports with them, which is wonderful.
I
and
mean,
it seems like they
also
have a
they're
great
like full
relationship.
adults.
Yeah, they're
So
yeah.
We don't need much attention. I'll be honest. Like, you give us good morals,
Yeah.
and you just kind of let us do our thing. and
well, that's what
hopefully
Claire is
don't say
hoping.
that.
Then in a,
Well,
you know,
I have two sons, and I'm like, one day they won't even want to talk to me. But that's not true, right?
Maybe you'll
No.
just get to like take a
No,
break, like
Yeah,
get to
no, I
breathe a
will.
little.
I do want to take a break. And she tells him that her daughter is getting married in Italy, and the family rule is that parents only get +1s if they're engaged. Why only parents? That seems harsh.
Her daughter's just like, Mom, I don't want you bringing some fucking rando to my wedding.
Yeah. No, it's the no. Have you never heard no ring, no bring?
I've
I
heard of
have,
that, but
but
for it
not
to be
for
specific to the
parents.
parents, maybe it's like has to do with a divorce
Yeah, it's a little harsh.
situation.
That is a little harsh.
I think she's literally like, Mom and Dad, like, no strangers at my wedding.
Yeah, I don't care if my cousin brings a stranger, but I don't want my mom to be with her like new boyfriend.
Yeah, like, no, thank you.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough to be a parent, you know? Mel continues to mingle, and we see some quick conversations. He tells Carol that he loves Freddie Freeman, and she's like, me too. He's my nephew. And she also tells him she used to go to Rams games in the 80s when he would have been
Which is so
playing.
cool.
And then she's like, but I didn't watch. Because I guess you would just go hang out and eat a hot dog.
She's
That's
like,
what
I was
do.
there for the vibes and the concessions. I
Out
respect
with
it.
another man. He liked the team. Like, you can't bring that up.
Alexandra shows Mel that she has his Golden Bachelor headshot as a screensaver on her phone. Why does she have her phone?
That's not her phone, Claire. It's very obviously not
Producers
her
were
phone.
just like, here is
Yes.
an iPhone with a picture
Yes.
of Mel.
100%.
Which it could have been true, but they
But it's
definitely
not her
remade
phone.
it and gave her a fake phone.
Yeah.
Jerry tells him she's doing this for herself, and it's been a while since she's done something for herself. And she tells him about her husband's death and how her children were 14, 8, and 4 when he passed away. Her oldest daughter just had her first grandson, and she reads this lovely letter her daughter wrote to her
So
about
sweet.
like relating to her as a mother and everything that she kind of gave her as a mother. And Mel is really touched. Monica says that if there's 2 seats left in business and in coach, she wants to know who's sitting where. She's kind of they're sitting with Susie, I think, having like a 2-on-1 conversation. And I guess it's supposed to show whether he would take the business class seat for himself or not, was my assumption.
There's probably more
But,
context in there somewhere.
right. But then he's just like, we're obviously all sitting in first class. And they're like, that's right.
Yeah, he's like, look, ladies, I'm rich.
I'm doing well for myself.
Yeah.
Have you seen my house? Inside, someone is apparently cooking something that smells bad in a saucepan on night 1.
This
for
is
some
never
reason.
explained.
Never explained.
They're just like, this smells terrible. I'm like, what is it?
What
we
is
need
it?
more
Who's doing this?
information. It's just dangling there, never resolved.
Jesse
But
brings in the
Jesse-
first impression rose. Meanwhile, we see some more conversations. Cheryl, the motocross biker, brought would you rather cards. And when it comes to physical touch or emotional connection, of course, he chooses physical touch. And I feel like that's actually kind of wild to be like, over emotional connection, I choose physical touch. At minimum, they've got to be equal. Like, I'd rather just
One
have a
would hope
physical
there's
relationship
both.
and no emotional connection. The last card that we see Cheryl pick is Kiss Now or Kiss Later, and he picks Kiss Now, and they share a little kiss. She's so giddy. The sun is kind of coming up at this point in the episode. We're less than halfway through the episode. This is when I realized that we're going to do a full week 1 of dates in this premiere. But Peg finally gets some time with the sun fully up and admits to him that when she heard him say he's looking for someone fit and full of life and adventurous, well, she has a big heart and she keeps it protected. But then she decided to give him a chance. I was confused by this.
Say
but
more about that journey you went on, Peg.
I do get the sense that they're all getting very tired and it's making it harder to have these conversations. But I think what she was saying is that she is someone fit and full of life and adventurous. And so maybe they would actually be a good match.
Yeah,
Was kind of my ultimate
that was my
takeaway.
takeaway too. And she does seem full of life and adventurous. And she's a
Mel-
former professional dancer, so
She is. She's a former everything and a
Yeah.
current everything. Mel then like grabs the first impression rose from the table in front of a bunch of the women. Carla's like, you had us up all night. And Mel's like, I appreciate the stamina. Spicy.
wink, wink.
And then he heads outside where some of the other women are sitting in the full daylight, taking in the sun.
It's like, give
And
them coffee.
He summons Jerry and gives her the rose, and they kiss, and they seem so tired. And very sleepily, she's like, I've never felt like this. It's like winning the Super Bowl. And Mel says, I've never won one, so I wouldn't know. That was a high water mark for my feelings towards Mel.
That was good. Just deadpan.
Yeah. I love when men make jokes about their professional failings. Because we all have them, you know? You don't have
No,
to.
it's
you
good
don't
to
have
be
to pump yourself up.
self-deprecating.
Yeah,
That's
be
just
self-deprecating.
charming. Everyone should be self-deprecating sometimes.
It's time for the rose ceremony. The women are completely exhausted. Alexandra's like, I don't know if I want a rose or a pillow. But then when I see Mel, I'm like wide awake. He tells the ladies that sending some of them home gives him pause, but it's part of the process. And then he begins offering roses. The first one goes to Peg, then Carla, Terry, Cheryl, Nicole, Cindy, Amy, Alexandra, Monica, P, Mylene, Carol, Roxanne, Monica B, and Robin. At this point, we see Diane crying in her in the moment, saying she's emotional because she doesn't think she's getting a rose.
This made me
But she
so
does
sad.
get the next rose. And Debbie gets the final rose and loudly says, thank God. She is so relieved that she immediately is weeping. Going home are Lisa, Lily, Maya, Susie, Andra, and Tracy.
It's just rough to see anyone go home. Like the early rose ceremonies are so much tougher in the Golden franchise than in the regular. Like I'm just like, okay, 7 24-year-olds are going home. Like that sucks. They're going to be fine. There's something about seeing women in their 60s and 70s being sent home so quickly that like pains me physically.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
emotional attachment to the Golden franchise is just
So different.
Yeah.
I don't cry at shows, but for some reason this show gives me every time just like a little something every time.
Oh yeah. No, this
Yeah.
is one of those shows that's like engineered to make you shed a tear.
Yep.
And I got like I get more attached to them faster, and then they're just like gone. I don't get to learn more about them, or I don't know. It's sad. And Maya, actually, I was surprised, the only under
Me too.
60-year-old. He was like, just to be clear, I don't care about that. She's out of here. Alexandra leads the remaining women and Mel in a toast to showing they can have fun after 60. And he toasts again to love, happiness, and fun. This is like his golden triad of things that they're going to seek.
They're
And
gonna
then they all
you
move
can
into
have
the
it all.
mansion. Did it seem to, like, am I losing it? It seems like it was redecorated.
Oh, it was. Yeah. I mean,
But
they redo it every time, every
no,
season.
this looked like the style looked different to me.
the
like then-
decor style was totally different.
Like updated.
Yeah. It felt more
Yeah.
modern. Did you notice this, Jonathan?
Yeah. Were you in the Bachelor
I never
Mansion?
went.
You
No,
never went.
so I have
Yeah, 'cause
no
Jen's
idea. We didn't
season
even
was
do
not
our
there.
walk-ups
Oh, I
at the
forgot.
mansion. We
Right,
did
I
it at a
forgot
different one,
that season was not at the Bachelor
Yeah.
Mansion.
and
Yeah.
then we were completely international.
Yeah, that was fun. You guys really
Yeah, you actually got a really good deal.
got a good season.
Mm-hmm. Traveled the whole
Um,
time. People were like, you didn't have to sleep in shitty bunk beds. I was like, no, I had one roommate and we were in hotels the whole time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh,
I
that's
love
the
that
dream.
for
That's
you.
almost like going on like a singles like trip, you know.
Yep, it was
But
just me
then-
and Spencer for weeks on end together.
That sounds like a
having a
delight,
blast.
frankly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
greatest time ever.
They all seem so tired again, but exhilarated to be in the mansion. They're even arm wrestling, which Diane dominates at because she has been strength training, which is so important. Which I learned, from Ruth Bader Ginsburg before she passed.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. It's like Ruth Bader Ginsburg doing her
Whenever
like
I
weightlifting.
I'm truly in my mid-30s
resistance
being
training.
like telling my husband, like, we have to exercise so that when we're in our 80s, we'll be able to use the toilet like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. He's like, that's in 50 years. That's my fitness icon. They are very
usually-
anxious about sharing the bathroom, except for Peg. Peg is used to sharing a bathroom with a bunch of guys at the firehouse, although apparently the ladies are much chattier.
I do believe that. Jesse arrives and tells all the women that Mel was blown away by them. And he brings a date card, which Diane gets up to read. And she does her little teacher thing. She's like, 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me.
My son does this all the time because his kindergarten teachers.
Wait, really? He uses it on you now?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
You're like, no.
He wants to be in charge, so he loves copying his teachers.
Wow. Suck up.
For some reason, my immediate thought, I was like, after a night of zero sleep, and I know they woke me up early, I don't need this joke right now. Just read the call.
Yeah, you're like, I need to
Tell me if
fucking
I'm on the
Shut
date
up,
or not,
Diane.
so I can
Yeah.
go back to bed
Yeah,
or lay by the
Diane, I'm trying to nap. But the date goes to Cheryl. The card reads, I am looking for a timeless love. Head to the other room for a surprise. And we head like right into a Pretty Woman style date where Cheryl gets to try on a bunch of fancy gowns. And she is
Yeah.
like so overcome by this opportunity. I was actually very struck at like how powerful the fairy tale princess tropes seem to be among these women.
Yeah, I actually wonder if it's more strong in part because they've gotten to an age where a lot of society thinks that they aren't going to be visible in that way anymore, that's kind
Yeah.
of over for them. And Cheryl is like almost weeping. She's like, this is like stepping into a fairy tale. I was sort of interested that she keeps saying like, well, I've always been a tomboy, so I didn't like think that I could have this. And I'm like, well, you can, as a woman, you can choose to go motorbiking and also choose to dress in a fancy dress. Like, and as a man, quite frankly, anyone can do
Yeah.
any of those things.
True.
It's so true.
she's like, every woman wants to be a princess deep down. I feel like a real woman. So
It's a
yeah,
sweet moment. It's a sweet moment.
I mean, yeah, I had certain complicated feelings about it, but I also like I love a pretty dress, and so I certainly relate to how exciting that would be.
I think what I
She
took away from it is that she just like it has gone so long without being like treated in a way where she's like, "Hey, we're gonna get dressed up. We're gonna go do this thing. You're the center of my attention, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this all on you."
No,
Like,
I do.
Yeah.
I do think that that is what she was responding to ultimately, and I think you're making a good point, Claire, and that like there is just such a cultural norm for women really like over 45 to just sort of retreat into the shadows, not be visible, not be desired. And I would imagine if you've like taken that on board and sort of disappeared yourself, that it might feel quite emotional to be given the space to do that. It just also, yeah, was definitely striking to me like how much like princess and like fairy tale was invoked. And maybe it's like a generational thing, or I don't know. I'm still
it is
working
also
through it.
just part of like the lore of the show, and like
Yes.
just like a woman wants to be a princess, the women want the princess date. Like that is what it is to sort of be courted and loved, is to be a princess. She does ultimately like pick a dress that is also sort of pretty womanish. Like she has like the strapless
Sweetheart
like
neckline.
sweetheart neckline red gown and like a big like diamond style necklace.
I mean, it's Neil Lane, obviously.
Oh, so
Did you
it's
notice
diamond.
that the camera just like panned it and like zoomed in and like really lingered on the Neil Lane on the
Of
box?
course.
yeah, they had to shout him back out because he wasn't in paradise. I don't know what the hell was up with that.
I
Yeah.
know.
Do you notice that?
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah, we noticed.
Jesse
Listen.
sat down. We're like, where the fuck is Neil? Like,
Wait, so you guys all looked at the rings?
no, what?
Or no,
no.
sorry,
No, when I was
yeah,
watching
when
it
you're
back,
watching.
I was like, this is my boy.
You
Like,
weren't even
Spencer
there
and
at
I are
that
like best
point.
friends. I want to make sure he's taken care of.
Yeah, you're like,
Oh, yeah,
Spencer
yeah.
Not that
didn't get
Jesse
his
wouldn't do a
sit
good
down with
job.
Neil.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. No, yeah. No, we all had the same reaction. I just retconned myself into thinking you were there at the finale. I'm so sorry.
Spiritually, I was.
Yeah.
Spiritually, you were.
They
Being at
couldn't
the
get rid. I
finale
kept calling
is
myself
just a
the
number.
cockroach. They couldn't get rid of me by the end. Like I should have been home weeks ago, and they're like,
You were
"How's
like,
this
nope,
fucking guy
still here.
Yeah.
Still fucking
You're like, I
here.
Just
paid
kicking.
just to meet Neil, and he's not even here.
Yeah,
They should have had Neil come and pick out the diamonds for her. Like it's like he's not even interested in being on the show anymore.
no. Here's my
Um,
creation. Just show it off
Yeah.
like a true artist.
I mean, she looks absolutely stunning.
Yep.
And Mel rolls up in a vintage Rolls Royce wearing a tux. They really did the whole thing here. I was like, sometimes, you get on the fancy dress and then you're just in like a regular limo. No, the vintage Rolls is where it's at.
I
Oh,
loved
badass.
this.
And Mel also looks very dapper. So then, as he comes in to greet the women, Cheryl is still getting ready. Nicole kind of comes up to him first and really grabs his face and starts like giving him slow cheek kisses, like a greeting, but really just kind of like clinging to his face. Another woman finally like sneaks in for a hug, hello. And then Nicole tells the women, "That's my husband," and grabs him again and kisses him on the lips. And
It's
I don't
intense.
know. What did you guys think of this and of Mel's
She's doing too much.
reaction?
You're doing too much.
Yeah.
It's been a day. It's been a day.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they found a golden they can make the villain. They did it.
They did it.
And then later
she's
on
down
in
to
episode
clown.
2, I know we're not there yet, but like,
Yeah.
you're like,
Well,
okay,
that's the
this
thing.
This
I
checks
was
was
the
out.
first
she-
sign.
This was the first sign, and then I was clocking every subsequent moment, and I was like, oh, I see exactly where this storyline is going.
Yeah. I thought Mel actually seemed a little bit put off.
I mean, it's
Like he didn't know how to handle it exactly.
because what is he supposed to do? He's not trying to like insult her and push her away, but it is like
right.
pretty intense, unearned intimacy. Like they
Right.
don't know
and then
each
he's
other.
dating all the other women, so he's uncomfortable with
Right. He's
them.
aware of like what message that might be sending to like all the other. He's also there to take a different woman on a date. So
right.
it's like extra.
Whose season was it? Was it Zach's season where
Zach's.
that became a huge point of
Because
drama? That
I think it was
one of
Was it Kat? I think
I
Kat
think it was
pulled
Kat.
Zach before Charity's date. Yes.
And
And it became like
and kissed him.
a huge point of
Huge.
contention.
One of the biggest like debacles of the whole season. These women are sort of like, okay, don't make a big deal out of it. And he heads off on his date with Cheryl. In Her in the Moment, Nicole is like, it's not often that I kiss a man right before he takes another on a date, but a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. And like, you don't actually have to do that. And it might not
No.
actually be in your best interest in the long run.
No,
I
it's
respect
gonna
her
flame
standing on
out.
it. I mean, if you're gonna do it,
If it's
don't be
true,
like,
if you
"Oh,
are gonna
no."
do it, if you are gonna do it, you gotta just like own it. You gotta lean in.
yeah, she stood on it after, and I was like, okay,
Yeah. She's like,
if that's your MO, do your thing. Everybody's got a different game, and you play yours.
right. She's not being like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about that. She's like, I kissed him right before his date with another woman, and
it was
I
on
am fine
purpose.
with that.
Yep.
Mel is very excited about his date with Cheryl, though. He thinks she's a very interesting person. They have good chemistry. He's feeling butterflies. And so they head off in the Rolls and arrive at a pier next to a giant ocean liner where there's a little dinner set up for them on the deck with the string trio playing. Mel says that Cheryl's entrance was the best of the night. And she shares a little bit more about her history of competitive racing. She's won 51 motocross trophies, which is
Impressive.
a
And
lot
Mel
of
is
trophies.
impressed. I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
do you have a room dedicated in your home just for these trophies? Where are they?
Yeah.
Maybe a storage unit. I don't know. But Mel is like into it. He's like, I love that she's a daredevil. And then Cheryl opens up about her life a little bit more. And there's a lot there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Her story with her ex-husband.
Yeah.
When
so
he just showed up and took their son.
This was
yeah,
crazy.
This
Okay,
was
so
absolutely crazy. So first
That would
she
be
talks.
a manhunt. I would kill somebody.
I mean,
I
it's
can't
literal
imagine. I have to
kidnappings,
imagine it was
so-
very dramatic. That is actually what most kidnappings are. Is
yeah.
literally the non-custodial parent taking the child without
Really?
Yeah.
permission.
So before
Um,
we get into all of that, she talks a bit about her current life, that she's been a caretaker for her 93-year-old mom for 5 years. And so she just like hasn't really had time to dedicate to herself, to going out and dating. And this seems to like move Mel and like really soften him, because obviously he lost his dad during COVID. And he talks about what that was like to like not be able to be there and care for his dad during that time.
Yeah, I think probably a lot of people have similar
yeah.
stories because of how many seniors passed away during COVID. I lost both of my grandmothers during COVID and wasn't able to see them. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's a very common story, and it was a really devastating way for that to happen.
Yeah, my
And-
husband's grandfather also, same thing. And it's just, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
not surprising, but it's definitely
Devastating.
devastating.
Part of the national trauma of the time is that a lot of people went through that. And he also says that he relates to kind of not having been able to date because he's been busy raising his sons. I do think that once your sons are in their late teens, you might have some time to date here and there. But he's doing it now, and we have
Also,
to
his
support that.
timelines. I mean, he's only been separated for 4 years.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's not that surprising if you're like in the process of a divorce for some of that
Mhm.
time that,
Yeah.
yeah, you probably wouldn't be like,
Listen, he
Maybe
didn't want to
dating.
date, and that is his prerogative. But I do think that if your sons are 19 and 18, you can
You
go on a date
could.
and they'll be able to take care of
For sure.
themselves. She also says that her 43-year-old son, Tyson, is her rock. And when he was born, her then husband, Mike, just didn't show up to the hospital. He
this
just didn't
was the
show
first.
up.
I was like, excuse
So
me,
insane.
what? Excuse me.
What
he
a
just,
way to leave your wife. Just don't show up to
Just
the
don't
hospital
show
when
up to
she's
the
having your
hospital.
baby.
And now she has an infant and she's alone. This sounds so traumatizing. So she basically says that she ended up like leaving the hospital with her parents. And then 12 months later, her husband showed up at her dad's house and then like proceeded to kidnap her son from her
Okay.
parents' home.
The way that she describes this is that her dad basically was like, give me Tyson. His dad is here. and then like handed the baby to his deadbeat dad who hadn't been there for 12 months and then was like, whoops, they left. Dad, what are you doing? Like,
No, I was
that
just like,
not,
this is a literal nightmare.
this is like a full recipe for kidnapping that just played out right here. He seemed like he was a little bit out to lunch on this, to be honest. And then he was missing for a week. They couldn't get him back for a week.
A week is crazy.
Crazy.
Like that, you
I
would be
would
going
go to
through
sleep.
absolute hell.
No, I was like, Cheryl has fucking been through it. So she says that she did, obviously, after a week, get her son back, and she was able to get a divorce finally from Mike. And she says he was then absent, quote, for a long, long time. And she says that she told herself basically she had to forgive him because she knew that he'd eventually come back and potentially want to be in Tyson's life. And so she just like did. She like went through that process of forgiveness. And she says that he did eventually come back into her son's life. They traveled together. They were able to have some form of a meaningful relationship. And then he passed away now 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's it's a lot.
Yeah, I can't imagine the strength it would take to offer
Reach
that
like a
kind of
place of
forgiveness.
peace.
Also, the mixed
Yeah.
emotions on that too. You're like, I don't want to like this person. I'm going to do it for my son. But then the
Yeah.
feelings start to come back where you're like, I'm okay with this person, and they pass. It's just like,
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the grief of losing an ex-spouse can be very complicated because of and been sometimes harder to process because of all the complicated aspects of it.
also your
Um,
favorite thing in life came from that person.
This
as
person,
well.
right? Which is it sounded to me kind of like how she thought about going into that forgiveness.
Yeah. And she's able to to look back and know that like she gave her son the best opportunity to have the best relationship with both of them that was possible, and that must be like a huge comfort to her now that that her ex is no longer there. And Mel thinks that her ability to forgive is a virtue. He says that she's been through hell and back to protect her son, and as a father that really hits home for him. As the string quartet, or it's the trio, I guess. It's the string trio plays. I was like counting the musicians.
I was just like, there are strings there. It must be a quartet.
Must be a quartet. No one ever talks about string trios. They're underrepresented. They're playing a cover of Snow Patrol's "Chasing Cars," which is having a real moment on reality dating shows this summer.
I know. I was like, did something change with the rights? Did this song become cheaper? Like.
Oh yeah. Also, whole episode music budget through the roof. I don't know.
Oh,
what
Golden,
happened
they
with
go
that.
like so much harder.
They're splashing
Every
out.
song was copyright song.
Yeah,
Every single
I feel
one.
on Paradise, I also noticed that they were doing more because it used to be all like
Just
song
like
library.
in the free
couple. We got
library.
thrown a couple
a
bones,
couple,
like
not enough.
like
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
You're
This
like,
is like an
it was
episode
no
of like
Snow
6.
Patrol.
No, we didn't have a moment like that. Even I remember I had this moment on my season with Jen. We had this like big like kissing under the rain scene,
Oh,
and
yeah.
production's like, we got you this song. It's gonna be a whole moment, and it's just like this like random ass song, and I'm like, it's a great song, and like I tried to like Shazam it so I could hear it. It doesn't exist. Like they just bought the song.
No, they're
I'm
like, this is fully in the like low cost library
Yeah.
of like if
You're like,
Yep.
why can't I? If The Summer I Turned Pretty can get every song Taylor Swift has ever released, why
I
can't we get
know.
just one for my big
One
kissing
song.
in the rain scene?
And it's not even about. It's the fact that they had like 6 in one episode. I'm like, you sons of bitches.
yeah. Look,
Because
it's
then,
golden
yes,
supremacy.
Also, at first, it's just a cover, but it doesn't stay a cover.
No,
As
then it
they're
goes right
playing,
into
He offers her the rose. She accepts. Fireworks start going off. And we begin to hear the actual Snow Patrol band singing the Snow Patrol song, Chasing Cars.
I was into it.
Insane.
I do love Chasing Cars.
Me too. It's a great song.
I do think it's a very sad song. And
Yes. I was like,
less
this is a moment for
romantic
the
than sad,
millennials.
but-
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
and they make out. It's a very successful date. Time for the group date. Peg says she's so excited she didn't sleep a wink, which is incredible because we know they pulled an all-nighter the night before, so maybe she's just reverse cycling and she's nocturnal now. Their sleep cycles must be going through
Fucked.
absolute havoc. The other women meet Mel and Jesse at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, the original home of the Rams. And Nicole immediately runs over and gives him like a full kiss on the lips.
It's like, Nicole, okay, you're doing it. You're really doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's very much like a territory marking thing. It seems like it's more about signaling to the other women that he is hers than anything else. But more on that later. Instead of a football date, they will be doing a cheerleading date because Mel needs someone who will cheer him on and match his drive through having the drive to cheer.
The drive to cheer. It's very important.
him on.
I feel like they were like, we've done too many football dates because we have like, we exclusively cast former football players on this show. And also just too high a rate of injury.
Yeah.
They're like, this will be safer.
Yeah. The insurance company probably was like, yeah, guys, not
Yeah, they're like, guys, not
Sorry.
another one.
Yeah.
Not, please.
Yeah. Some of the women are thrilled. A decent number of them have dance backgrounds. Some of them were like former pro dancers or cheerleaders. Cindy did dance for the Dallas Mavericks. But
And you can
Amy-
tell in her performance.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
obvious. Amy, our momager, on the other hand, is more nervous. Apparently, they are not the dancing kind of TikTok twins and twin mom.
No, they do
She's like,
skits.
I can't
They
do
do
this.
skits
They
and
do
they go
skits.
shopping. They don't
They
do
go shopping.
dances.
The LA Rams cheerleaders are here to train them, along with Paula Abdul.
I was like,
Which
this
is-
is a great get. This is like a generationally appropriate, like true star.
Also, she was the original Lakers girl. She was the first one.
Oh,
Wait, was she?
really?
She was. So when this date started to happen, I was in my mind, I was like, it'd be really cool if we got Paula Abdul. She comes on. I'm like, that
Wait,
makes
okay,
so
that
much
makes
sense.
so much sense. I didn't
Wow.
realize. I thought they were
Yep.
just like, these women will be super stoked to see Paula Abdul, which
When
When the
they
were.
Showtime
were.
Lakers started like do the performances and the big this and that, they brought in Paula Abdul and she was the very
Wait, I
first
love it.
one.
I feel like
She
they should have
built
shown us some
that.
like original footage of her or
Yeah.
something.
I was going to say, I think that she was underutilized. And part of that is because the whole first week of dates was just 2 dates crammed together so that they could
I
fit
know.
it
I
into
was
the
like, I
second
want-
hour.
More Paula Abdul. Like you got
Yeah.
Paula Abdul on your show.
And she's barely on my screen. And this is one of the great things about Golden is in part because you're not going for the current top stars. They're the top stars of like 30 years ago. You can get some really good
people.
stars,
Mhm.
which is
It's
like
way more satisfying than like
Yeah.
whatever like D-list country star shows up on like The Bachelorette.
Right. I'm like, yeah, this person isn't, topping the charts right now, but they will always be a huge star because
They are
They are
iconic. Like Paula
they're
Abdul is
iconic.
iconic.
Yeah.
Alexandra is like, she was one of my heroes growing up. And then she's like, well, no, I'm the same age as her, so I wasn't growing up.
It's like you were growing up together.
Yeah,
you were growing
like
up
us and Taylor
alongside
Swift.
her. Exactly.
Taylor Swift I was a huge fan of Taylor Swift growing up, even though she's younger than me. I can't tell you the math on that.
Yeah, you can be growing up alongside your
Yeah.
contemporary heroes. It's fine.
I'm still growing up in a sense. The women are split into
Are we
2
all?
squads for a cheer competition. The winning team will go to the after party with Mel. Of course, the other squad will have to go back to the mansion. Mel's GB squad is Jerry, Cindy, Amy, Monica P, Carla, Carol, and Terry. Amy is just really continuing to serve some like Ramona Singer style realness.
Oh my God. Amy, I just hear Ramona Singer when she speaks. We have a clip of some of her commentary.
1, 2, 3,
Oh my
4.
God.
I have absolutely no dancing in my background, but I used to go to Studio 54 and dance, but that's freestyle. If I forget everything, what do I do?
Make sure they don't forget your beaming smile and your beautiful energy, all right?
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Everyone used to go to Studio 54 to dance. I'm like, everyone was there. Truly.
I mean, yeah, she is from the New York area, so
yeah.
it
No,
makes
she
sense.
is. Ramona Singer, of course, is like an original Real Housewives of New York cast member. Amy
She
is
also
sort
talked
of
in that
bringing
same
a
like
similar
clipped way, like the same inflection. She'd be like, I used to go to Studio 54. It's very Ramona.
No, she's got that that reality TV aura about her.
Yes, like
Amy.
she was made in a lab to be on reality television.
Yeah, which is why she's like producing her own reality show through her daughter's TikTok. Mel's Angels is Diane, Noelle, and Peg, who has a professional dance background as well. Mylene, Monica B, Robin, and Roxanne. And Peg is like kind of directing.
She's leading the charge.
She's leading the charge. She's like, you can all do it. Any of you can kick ass and take names. And Mel's watching like, wait, she can dance also? She can defuse bombs. She can fight fires. And she cheers.
Yeah, like literally what can't this woman do?
Peg is incredible.
I want to date Peg.
Same.
There's so many situations in life when this would come in super handy to have Peg around.
She honestly would be the world's greatest wedding +1.
Yes.
Think about the stories she could tell, the dance floor she's tearing up. Like,
oh yeah,
she's probably just kicking it. She could sit out there, probably have a cigar with the boys and a glass of whiskey too. Like,
great wedding +1 and or person to accompany you during the apocalypse.
Yeah,
And she'd like kill
and that
there too.
That covers
so
like
just,
the full
just
range
wifey
of
material as a whole.
If I'm looking at the future, I'm like, I'm going to need a +1 to a wedding and probably also the apocalypse at this point.
Yep.
Both things seem increasingly likely.
Jesse welcomes a crowd to the first Golden Cheer Championship, and the two squads run out in blue and gold cheer uniforms that say M across the chest for Mel. Mel's Angels go first. They're adorable. They're having a lot of fun. They're not really in sync. They're doing their best. And then Mel's GB squad goes, and they're kind of hitting their marks.
They are. I was like, oh man, they're gonna win. They're gonna win.
I mean, and Cindy is in the center spot too.
She's so good
to
So
be
good.
showcased. I mean, she was a professional cheerleader.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing.
Also, the stance after. I went to school with a bunch of dancers. There's like a certain like way they like stand with their feet. She like went right back to her roots and was standing like perfectly. In that,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was like,
that's it.
I see your game, Cindy. I see it. I respect it.
All you needed to win was to have Cindy in the middle and everyone else roughly in sync. And like
Exactly.
that's gonna be enough because she's so good. Carol even does some hairography for her solo. She's whipping it around. I was like, okay, this is coming
This is
together.
good.
Ultimately, it is Mel's GB squad who takes the win, and I think we all could see that coming. Peg is disappointed, but at least she gets to nap on the bus. And again, remember, she hasn't slept now for 2 nights in a row.
She needed
so
this,
she really
frankly.
needs
She couldn't go to an after party. She needed to
No.
sleep. So the ladies who won stay with Mel for the after party. We get to see him having some one-on-one time with most of them. Monica P pulls Mel aside and she talks to him about her history. She says that the first time she ever got on a plane was to head out to USC from Mississippi, where she's from, because she got a scholarship to go to school. And she ended up living out, I think, in California for many years. And then after her 2 sons moved out of the home, she moved back to the South to be closer to her parents. And that's where she lives now. She also talks about the fact that she got divorced from her first husband, who I assume is like her son's dad, and then met her second husband, and they were married for 12 years. She says that they had like a fairy tale relationship, but he passed away during COVID. And you can tell that is like still very, that loss feels fairly fresh for her. I mean, it was only a few years ago, and she starts to choke up talking about it.
a lot of like we've had like quite a few conversations already in this first episode about really tragic losses that people suffered during COVID, which makes sense, you know, given that we're 5 years out from it and so many people died under such difficult circumstances. But it's really striking. She says she's trying to push forward now, and she tells the camera through tears that she goes to restaurants and sees all those couples there, and she gets takeout and goes home to eat alone, and she misses being in a couple.
That really broke my heart. What did you think of this moment, Jonathan?
I was gonna say this is one of my favorite things about the previous season of The Bachelorette is, Joan had gone through similar. So all the men that had went through that too, like she was able to be like, hey, you aren't my like one and only. I had somebody and it was an amazing thing, but I can see where you're coming from and I want to like build this thing that's also an incredible second phase of life. And I think this is a good thing that they're showing or showcasing on this, and like they're having to explain it a little bit differently because Mel hasn't gone through something similar. But watching this all come to fruition in the stories, like it hits home every time.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really like a lot of people by this age have gone through some really tough losses, and if they're on a dating show, there's a good chance for a lot of them it's being widowed, and the way that the people on the show are able to talk about it and how they've moved through it is always like really moving. Meanwhile, the rest of the women are discussing what they need from a partner: values, family, chemistry. And Terry has some thoughts on chemistry. I think we have a clip.
Well, I think another piece is the chemistry.
Yeah.
Chemistry is pretty high up on my list.
Yeah, chemistry is really...
Because I don't want to have to put a bag over their head.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. So there's one bag and two baggers.
Or in the dark.
A one bagger is you put a bag over the head, and two baggers, when there's a bag, if that bag breaks, you have to put another bag over the head. That is not happening.
Terry.
I was not aware of the one bagger versus two bagger.
That
situation.
is not what I thought the second bag referred to. But this is a family podcast, so I'm not going to go any further on that.
She's like, no. When you put the second bag also over
the
his head.
In case the first one breaks, that's how ugly they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, we should all be attracted to our partners. Right? I think we can all agree on that.
It also just really works with Terry's accent. It's like
she has a very like wry sense of humor.
Yeah.
A little bit dark sometimes.
I'm into it.
Debbie is the resident fitness queen, of course. And as you mentioned earlier, Emma, she's, as far as we can tell, the only cast member who has never been married or had kids. And she tells Mel that she found love early. And then when it didn't work out, and she was like 45 at the time, she was exhausted by the prospect of starting over again. And she says she had almost given up. Carla speaks to him next and tells him that dating is challenging. And he says he doesn't think it would be since she's so beautiful. Mel. Beautiful women don't find dating challenging because no one asks them out. That's not the hard part. She's like, it's hard to
Carla's
find a good date.
Yeah, I'm a former model.
She's like, don't worry, men are asking me out.
I just don't, they're not good ones.
I was on the dating apps back in the day. You don't even have to be a model to be besieged by low quality date offers.
Yeah. They're out there, let me tell you.
Yeah. Cindy chats with Mel and says that it's hard for her to be away from her 3 daughters. They FaceTime 5 times a day normally.
It's just constant.
I can't even imagine FaceTiming with anyone 5 times a day. Mel whips out an iPhone, and he has a video from Cindy's youngest daughter who tells her that she booked a gig as Diana Ross's backup dancer at the Hollywood Bowl.
They did it. They brought Diana Ross back around.
They're like, you can't communicate with your moms. However, if any of you has an interaction with Diana Ross, please let us know immediately.
How did production find this out? Because they don't have their phones. Like, is this just...
Right.
Does it come to fruition
Or like,
beforehand?
was Cindy aware that her daughter was up for a big job and she I don't know.
It just seems so weird that this is something that basically never happens, and then it just happens to include a reference to Mel's famous childhood name.
It feels like very clear that that's why they allowed the video, so that Mel could be like, I grew up across the alley from Diana Ross.
It's like, speaking of Diana Ross, like, since Diana Ross has come up.
And Cindy's like, oh, did you get my daughter the job?
He's like, I don't like know her in that sense. We lived across the alley from each other when I was a child. Cindy feels like maybe this connection is a sign. She's like, after tonight, I feel like Mel and I are aligned. He really saw me. It's been decades since I felt seen like this. And then they make out 3 times, and she's ready. She's ready for more.
We knew
And
Cindy was a front runner from the get-go.
I mean, yeah, she's
chemistry is
doing
there.
well. And she gets the group date rose.
Yeah.
And she's
when,
like
when he
so
went back for the
in.
3rd makeout, I was like, she's
Yeah,
getting the
come
group
on.
date
You can't go back for a 3rd makeout and then not give her the group date rose. We see where this is going. And afterwards, she's like, I'm a logical person, but this is nuts. I'm falling in love with the man in a very short time period. Falling in love already invoked.
I mean, this show is so powerful. Like the way that within 24 hours and 2 makeouts, you can be like, this is it.
I know,
must be
it made me
a
like a
hell of a
little
drug.
worried about Cindy, though. I was like, I need her to be okay if she doesn't end up with Mel.
You're like, we're 3 days in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
ooh.
hard when you get attached to a relationship with the lead early and then you watch other relationships catch up.
Yeah, that can be a very
People's-
challenging
people can
position to
spin
be
out.
in.
Wonder what that's like. It's taking me a bit, both times.
You're
Well,
like, but
now
I'm
you
fine.
know.
I'm fine. We're fine.
No,
Let's
I'm
go.
so cool though. It's cool. Just going into the holiday season single again. It's cool.
It's cuffing season. Come on.
Yeah.
Is no one good at sliding into your DMs? Come
They
on.
are, but I have a
mean,
hard
yeah.
rule.
Yeah, you're like
against-
I have the same issue as Carla. Okay.
What, you have an anti DM rule, or
I mean, that's
I'm more of a
probably
meet. I'm a
wise.
I'm a meet cute guy. Like I go up to girls at coffee shops and at the grocery store. and
Wait,
like
they
that.
should
I
give
think
you
they're
a
cute.
medal. I mean that seriously. Like
Yeah,
no
like,
one does
no-
that anymore. That's
A
good.
medal?
as long as
Yeah.
you don't take out their AirPods. So that
No,
they'll
I don't
to
talk to girls at the gym actually, and I'm in there 5 days a week. You'd think I would, but
No,
it's-
I feel like that's you. Yeah, you got to read the room. You got to be like, does this person want to
Wanna
be
talk to
spoken to
me.
right now?
yeah, right. And when they're shopping at Trader Joe's, confused about what to get, that's the perfect time.
Right.
look,
You're
I feel like
have
the
some
grocery
great
store is it.
recommendations about produce. Like I
Yeah.
will not steer you
Hey,
wrong.
you got to be
on
like,
bell
look, have you
peppers.
tried this limited seasonal item that's new at Trader Joe's?
I used to do merchandising for Costco in their produce section, so like that
Get
is
outta
just
here.
that's my lane.
Claire just got a Costco membership.
I just got a Costco membership. So, what a coincidence. Like it can't just be chance
yeah, this is
that
just
we
like
both
Diana
are related to
Ross.
Costco.
Yeah.
So the next day is a pool party, and it's sort of like a group date cocktail party combo almost, because this
I
is the
enjoyed
only
this.
other date that we get. It was, I mean, they love doing a pool party to keep things light and fun. The ladies are hanging out looking sexy by the pool, waiting for Mel. Some of them are considering getting in the water, but Terry is not. She's like, this hair is high maintenance.
I'm obsessed with Terry. Terry doesn't give a fuck. Terry's just going to say whatever is on her mind.
I feel like Mel is looking for a little bit more of a cool girl. Like she's super hot, but she also will get her hair wet. So I'm like, I'm not sure that Terry's going to be his match in the long run.
I don't think Terry's going to be his match in the long run, but I think that Terry is an incredible character. And like,
No,
I mean,
love
like, look
having
at
her on the show.
Kathy on season 1 and obviously on
Yep.
Paradise
Yes.
Cat. Like, you need someone who's going to give hilarious running commentary.
100%. And there are a few like candidates this season.
Yeah, Terry is one of them.
Mel arrives and promptly takes his shirt off and jumps in the pool in his shorts and sneakers.
Start winning the UFOs again.
Yeah. Are
He's
they
like,
waterproof?
I actually
Like-
cannot take off the UFOs. They are,
Yeah.
I'm a never nudist for feet.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably got football feet, which
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you don't want to see
they
these
did not
toes.
make cleats like they do now. Those things
Yeah.
were probably made of cardboard and metal back then. And you're just
Oh,
like,
God.
He's probably like, I have to be dating a woman for like 3 months before she can
See my
see
feet.
these toes.
The women are a little thrown, but they are willing to overlook this because, as Terry says, it's hard to find men over 60 who are fit, and Mel has abs. He and Peg discuss retirement. He says that he plans to work forever, and Peg is flabbergasted.
I actually loved this exchange because Peg was just like, this is what I want. Are you here to offer it? If you're not, I'll be going.
Yeah. I did think it was sort of funny because we know that Peg is retired, but also like has what appears to be a thriving like real estate
Yeah, she is a realtor,
business.
which hasn't come up.
Right. So she also seems to have like a flexible late in life career. But she's like, no, but I want someone who has time to like live
Travel.
life together. Like I'm 62,
Yep.
like let's get this going. And he's like, no, I can have a flexible schedule. Besides, we've got decades. Like we're going to live another 30 years.
Well, I was laughing because he was like, you have 40 years. And then she was like, well, my grandparents did live until 90. And I was like, that's 30 years, not 40.
You never know though. Like people live to be 100.
True. I will say this is one
They
of those
do.
moments that was like kind of threw me for a loop where what he said on the podcast, to circle back to that about age, he started to not care, but then she cared in this moment, like, hey, we're at this age. And he's like, wait, what? No, we have plenty of time. Like, why are we worried about age? And it, for me, like, it was just like a funny moment in my mind to kind of like watch through, because he's also like, I love working. Like, it's fun. Like, it keeps me busy, this, and that. And like, there's no age for it. But somebody else on the opposite end actually does care in this moment. I was like,
Or
it's
she's like,
believable.
let's
She's like,
go.
time is short. I do
Yeah.
feel like this is like a common divide in how men and women think about age, because women are accustomed to thinking about a biological clock and like thinking about like I have certain
Markers.
markers in life where I am just inevitably going to have certain chapters in my life close. And men are a little bit more like, my age is like tied to my female partner's age. Like if my female partner can have kids, then I can have kids, for example. So like I think that there's often more of a mindset of like, if I date younger women, that will literally keep me young. And therefore, like I don't have to worry as much about what age I actually am. And I think that women are accustomed to thinking about it a little bit more specifically about like, well, how much time do I have left to do certain things, if that makes sense? That's the kind of the divide I sensed here, where I was like, well,
Yeah.
maybe he wants a younger woman because he doesn't want to think of himself as being like close to retirement age. He doesn't want to think of himself as being like in that final chapter. And if he was dating a 45-year-old, then
You could
he
kind of put off that
mentally put himself
realization.
in a younger bracket, as it were. And she's like, no, but we are in our 60s. Like, we're not going to live forever.
She's just like,
I don't
let's
think that
fucking
it's
go.
wrong.
It's go time.
And I
No,
don't think that
neither
it's wrong
mindset
to want to
is
keep
wrong.
working. Yeah.
No.
But it's true. They are thinking about age a little bit differently. He's like, I will stay like young by continuing my career and like still enjoying life. And she's like,
The
we gotta-
reality is the reality. Let's go
Yeah.
like travel the world, because like we don't have
And
infinite
also,
time.
again, she still is working. So I'm
Yeah,
like
she
a little confused.
also is working.
Look at her Instagram. It's just like all real estate listings. I'm like, you're working, Peg. Mel and Monica play some sort of game and discuss how his heart is post-divorce. By which I mean, she's like, how's your heart? And he's like, it's good. And she's like, good.
Classic Mel.
And then Diane reads him an original poem about hot older dames. She's the Captain Kim of the season.
Love that.
Roxanne tells him that she needs an introspective and vulnerable partner because she's very introspective and lots of people won't go there. And he's like, I'm fine going there.
We don't see the evidence, but he's fine with it.
He is fine with it. Like, does he have practice doing it? Like, we haven't seen that
TBD.
yet. But
We're only in episode 1.
hypothetically, he's fine with it.
And then suddenly we get a dance montage set to Girls Just Want to Have Fun, a Cyndi
It's like a music
Lauper.
video.
Yeah, no,
Again
I
with
love it.
The music.
This was
You're
great.
Like, excuse me.
Well, in season 1, we had like that boo thing dance party.
Yeah, this was the boo thang moment.
Yeah. It was very cute.
And it really is like a music video. It's like in the middle of the action, all of a sudden it's like slow-mo shots of the women crossing their long legs and like jumping in slow-mo into the pool. And they're like,
They must have had
boogieing
so
with
much fun
Mel.
shooting this.
Oh,
So
yeah.
much fun.
They look like they're having fun. Monica B is like, he's giving everyone attention. We all feel seen. Mel hasn't had this much fun in years. And then abruptly, the music video is over. Mel jumps in the water, and Nicole is all over him. She's like
Yeah, here we
clinging
go
to his
again.
neck. She's kissing him. This is the sort of thing that you see in like in a reality dating show like Paradise, where everyone is like paired off with their one person. and they're clinging to each other's necks in the pool and kissing. But it's kind of weird when Mel is the only guy here and it's just all his other dates watching.
Yeah, I feel like if I was any of these other women, I would have been side-eyeing this. And we have a little clip of some of their commentary as they are watching this.
So here we go. Mel hops in the water, and Nicole jumps in right after him, tries to climb him like a tree.
Thank you so much. That's sweet.
And captivates his time. It just seems to be a very consistent theme.
Can we make him jealous just for a second?
I wouldn't do that. I'm just not like that.
Oh, look at this. Oh, look, now they're kissing.
Nicole and Mel, they kissed as though there was nobody around when all the ladies were around the pool watching. It was really awkward moment.
No, I can't get angry.
I'm trying not to look, and it's just a little uncomfortable for me. I don't share very well.
Yeah, so some of what they actually are saying to each other in the pool gets a little bit lost, but like
Yeah.
she says to Mel, "Can we just make them jealous for a minute?" or something like that. And then she's making out with him to the point that he literally says to her, like, "We need
Take
to take
it
it
easy."
easy. Like, you're doing too much.
Too much. And also it's like making him uncomfortable.
It's weird to say to him, like, let's make them jealous. Like, that signals to him that it's not about him and her, that it's about her wanting to make the other women feel
Yeah, it's a
less than
statement
her.
for the girls, not for him.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't think that long term that's going to really work for him because it's very clear that he has interest in some of these other women. He's not trying to make them all feel put off so that he can like run off into the sunset with Nicole without dating anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably likes the attention for now.
For sure.
But I think he's aware of the fact that this isn't my person's not going to sit here and do this in front of everybody else.
Right. And it gives him an uncomfortable task, which is like, how do I manage everyone else's feelings about this without
offending
pushing her in a way that would
Yeah.
be offensive? Yeah, like it gives him a dilemma. And like you're not going to end up wanting to go further and further with someone who is always giving you a dilemma when you're together. It's just making his life a little harder ultimately. Like I'm sure, yeah, it's
also
nice
just
to have
clear
like a hot
that
woman trying to kiss you.
This is going to like reach a boiling point at some point. Like right now, and I do think we see that like the people in this age group tend to be like less immediately like ready for conflict than younger people in the franchise, right? No one's going to say something to her in this moment. But if it happens for a couple more episodes, like it's going to become open conflict.
Yeah, he also has like such an easy out though too, where he doesn't have to be like, oh, like no, cut that shit out. Like he could just be like, he just wasn't feeling the connection, doesn't give her a rose, and then he doesn't have to deal with it anymore.
Right.
If that's what he chooses.
Oh, you
to
know,
do.
production is like,
please keep
her for as long
She's
as
our
possible.
early season villain. And it's hard to get a golden villain.
No, it's so difficult.
People want to love all the Goldens. They had some pretty mild drama on season 1, and already it's much spicier with this group because of Nicole. I do like he doesn't seem completely unwilling, but I do want to say that like if it were the Golden Bachelorette and a man was like really aggressively all over the lead in this way, that would be read very, very negatively.
I agree.
Like it doesn't seem like he really has much of an opportunity without being rude to kind of
shut it
chill
down.
things out. Like he literally has to be like, please take it easy. And that is like notable. That never happens. I don't know. It made me uncomfortable.
Me too.
And now it's suddenly rose ceremony time.
Again. Oh my God, 2 rose ceremonies, 1 episode. The women are all of a sudden just like in their evening glam, doing, of course, their B-roll, gazing out into the middle distance. They want a rose from Mel so much.
The rose ceremony is by the pool.
I like
this.
this.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's change it up. Why not?
They're keeping the pool party vibe going. 4 women are going home tonight, which brings the total
like,
going home in week 1 to 10. They've almost halved the group in the first.
I mean,
Golden. How many
Golden.
did they start with?
23.
23, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right? 23? Yeah.
Yeah. So they've really slashed and burned. Mel thanks them all for how courageous they've been in sharing their stories. The woman of his dreams could be right here. The roses go to Roxanne, Debbie, Jerry, Monica P, Monica B, Carol, Peg, Nicole, Robin, Amy, and Terry. And of course, Cheryl and Cindy already have roses from their dates. So going home are Carla, Mylene, Diane, and Alexandra.
Sad.
Of course, we got lots of in the moments of Carla, Diane, and Alexandra talking about how optimistic they felt about their connections and staying.
You know, that's a kiss of death on this show. If someone's like, I am pretty sure I'm going to stay. You're like, oh, you're going home.
I'm really bummed about all of them. We didn't see much of Mylene, but Carla and Diane and Alexandra already felt like
I know they all actually really
characters.
popped for me. It's a bummer.
In his In the Moment, Mel says that this is hard because they're all beautiful and they're all smart. But he does believe his wife is here. His wife is in this room.
She's somewhere. He's going to find her.
He's gonna find her.
Good old Bachelor line.
Yeah. They really got him to that point really fast. They
trained him up.
I believe it. He's
a student of the game. Carla leaves. She says she's disappointed, but she's like, my man is out there. I'm going to go home and check my DMs.
I'm
sure.
Yeah,
I love this. Yes,
They're
Carla.
full.
I hope they are full.
Diane is more philosophical in another direction. She's like, when I lose a hockey game, we're disappointed. But then we remember there's always a game next weekend. And I was like, wow, sports really do teach you life lessons. That's accurate. And she's like, this has given me hope. I know my next chapter is like out there.
Gosh,
Very
she's the
sweet.
sweetest.
I know. I
love
her. I love Diane.
I would just love to have her on just so I could just be like, I love you.
Me
I know.
too.
She brought a really good energy to the house.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm a little bummed that she went so soon. But we do get a little preview of the season. We see travel, dune buggying, a lot of making out, riding on the trail of love. It looks like Susan and Kathy are going to make a cameo to like start a pillow fight of some kind. And we see a lot of Cindy, Debbie, and Cheryl all like say they're falling for Mel. Nicole, of course, is going to continue to make out with Mel too much in front of the other women. And Mel is just constantly putting women in SUVs, shutting the door, and worrying he made the wrong choice.
It's like another SUV door closed. Oh, did I make the wrong choice?
You know, the editors
Sounds
were having
about
fun there with this preview.
Yeah.
We see him telling Jesse that someone left, and Jesse assures him that she is still there. And then we hear him say, I wish it was you. Dun, dun, dun.
Also, they show somebody's child being like, are you in love with my mom? So
Oh, yeah.
all you have to do is figure out whose child that is, and you know that they get a hometown.
Oh, true. Yeah, this is what I always do this at some point. I do my like deep dive. This is what I do with Love is Blind too. I'm like parsing every like thing from the previews.
Yeah, every little bit from the
Most
preview.
people
I
don't
live for the
have, our
previews.
that much free time. But some of us do. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us. This has been super fun. Do you have any final thoughts on what's to come this season?
Any final thoughts? I don't think any final thoughts. I'm excited to see how it pans out. I'm excited to see if he picks somebody and if it like actually like
Yeah, what do you
I don't
think?
know, makes a difference to his world. I don't know. I've met him twice now, and it's always at events, so it's kind of hard to read. But I always like to look into it and be like,
You're like, are
is he
you?
giving I'm
are
in
you-
love,
Yeah,
or
are you
I have
single?
somebody waiting for me at home?
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I love just imagining Mel being at events and like when he looks away, everyone just immediately starts like beady eye looking at him like,
Yeah,
does
we're
he
like,
seem
what-
happy? Does he seem in love? Like,
Yeah, and I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that. But I honestly have not been able to put it together from the 2 times I've met him. So
well, like you said, he does seem very stoic. Like he
I think
seems like he would be
holds
good
his
at.
cards close.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's good at it.
Yeah, no, he's definitely got a lot of practice at like putting on that masculine front, like that stone cold exterior. And we're just gonna have to wait until the finale, I guess, to find out. I'm very excited to see how this season unfolds. And it was such a treat to get to discuss the premiere with you. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, please come back anytime. Well, that was super fun having Jonathon on. And now it's time for Love to See It, Hate to See It. Let's start with Hate to See It to get that bad stuff out of the way. First, we hate to see a lead who has to spend like the first half of his premiere swearing over and over again that he does actually maybe sort of want to date some of the women on this show and won't be immediately writing them all off because of their age.
Yeah,
It's just rough.
I didn't love this vibe. We knew that it had to be the case. It was better than ignoring it, but hated that this had to be the vibe at the beginning of the season. Like, no, women over 60 are totally dateable. I believe that, I swear,
good.
despite the comments you have seen.
I definitely do. I made a mistake, and my preferences have now changed.
Yeah, I made a mistake. My preferences were wrong, and I have ones that are different now. Yeah, not the ideal start to the season. We also kind of hated to see just the enduring power of the fairy tale princess tropes on this show. Like, as we talked about in our discussion, we also understand the allure of those tropes.
Yes.
I too feel the allure of those tropes, but the way that this show kind of positions like getting to be a beautiful princess who has a fairy tale is kind of the ultimate thing that a woman can aspire to. And like so many women just like can't have it. And if they do get it, that means that they are a real woman. Worthy. I do kind of hate to see.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a bummer, even though I do think that moment with Cheryl was like very sweet. And I love giving anyone space to feel like treated and seen.
Absolutely.
Also, hated to see like 10 women go home way too soon because I love them all. But honestly, I'm sorry, especially Diane. I love her. I'm obsessed with her. I would die for her.
I know, this was brutal. I was not prepared for 10 women to be gone by the end of this episode when I sat down to watch it. Rough.
It's tough.
I did kind of hate to see lack of emotional softness and responsiveness to the women in that arena from Mel. Gary just had a lot of that particular quality.
Honestly, really good at it. And despite the fact that obviously Gary was not like a perfect person or lead, no one is. I do think he brought like an emotional intelligence that a lot of men in that age bracket like do not possess. A lot of people like in the world do not possess.
Yeah. I think that Mel is like doing his best to say the right things and like have the right responses, but he's just, it's not like something that he conveys with a lot of like rawness or
and I think
comfort.
there's like a strong chance that that will get like easier for him to do as the season goes on, but it's just, it was striking in comparison to what we saw so like inherently from Gary.
Yeah, 100%.
Also, we hated to see just a complete lack of disability representation, unless Mel's flat feet count, and also body diversity. As we talked about in our cast bios episode, something we loved about Gary's season was that like immediate focus on him putting in his hearing aid. We got multiple references to ear candy. There was just like a discussion of some of those things.
Like as you age and your body, you know, and this doesn't even have to be as you age, but it's something that was portrayed more successfully on The Golden than on the original franchise. Just that like having a disability aid of some kind, these things don't make you less dateable, less desirable. They're just part of the totality of who you are. That's something that we didn't really have, like wasn't really explored this episode, which I think bugged me more because the comments that he made on the podcast were also sort of ableist and like were very much about like she shouldn't have a hip replacement. She shouldn't, you know, she should sort of have the body, the fully, you know, abled body that I would expect from a younger woman. And yeah, the closest I think that we saw to that was the fact that Mel needs orthopedic shoes,
which I loved.
Which is great. Yeah. The women should also get to wear orthopedic shoes, I think.
Honestly, yes. Their feet must be so tired. Oh.
Yeah.
And now it's time for Love to See It. We obviously love to see just a group of women that are worth rooting for. So much star potential. So many women I want to like understand more about their stories. That is just the greatest joy of this part of the franchise, is just getting to see women over 60 in their totality.
Yeah. I was thinking again about like Mel's thoughts about like the sort of like trope of a woman over 60 that he has in his mind. And like, it's totally fine. Like many women do wear wigs or have hip replacements or all those things. And also like there is this way where in pop culture, I think often we just see like the sort of trope of like the grandma, and the grandma has all these signifiers or whatever to like show that she's over 65. And to see like a group of them together in their diversity and their different personalities and their different styles and interests is something we don't get enough of. And I
Absolutely.
It is. I always just feel like really excited to get older after I watch this show. I'm like, it's not going to be the end of my life, you know,
I know.
when I turn 40.
Well, that's the thing. And like, that is, I think, what we feel is like the worthy project of this show.
Yeah.
Because it is just not something we get a lot of. Also, frankly, for Carol's sake especially, loved to see the real winner of this season of The Golden Bachelor, Freddie Freeman of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So much screen time and free promo for Freddie Freeman.
Love to see Freddie Freeman effortlessly dominating this premiere without even showing up. And we love to see a classic villain arc already beginning. Like they're starting to hit the marks with this franchise. They're like, we got to get all of those narratives percolating for a real season to take place.
So much fun. And finally, we have our season rating. Our love, happiness, and fun rating out of 10 champagne toasts. What do you think we had here, Claire?
I think that the fact that a lot of the episode is spent, unfortunately, and again, I think necessarily, reminding us of the fact that Mel is unlikely to fall in love with the woman over 60, which is everyone present. That's going to bring the love quotient down quite a bit off the bat. And also the fun quotient is down because an apology video is not fun. Or happy. However, that being said,
the dance party to Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun, very fun and happy and full of love.
Yeah, and I think that there were some connections that did actually make me feel
hopeful,
or like I was feeling feelings of love for these women, and I was having fun with them, and I was feeling happy. So I don't know. I think ultimately I'm settling at about a 5.5.
Okay, that's where I was too. I was like, I'm between a 5 and a 6.
Yeah.
So I think that, we can really go up from here. Sometimes it's good to set the bar a little bit low and then, hope for an upward trajectory.
And now that we know what Mel is looking for out of this season, aside from fit and in good shape, which is, we know now from multiple toasts that he is looking for love, happiness, and fun. And
so now we'll have our eye out for that love, happiness, and fun all in one beautiful package. And on that note, that is it for this episode of Love to See It with Emma and Claire. Thanks to our wonderful guest, Jonathon Johnson.
Love to See It is a presentation of Odyssey. The show is produced by us, Claire Fallon and Emma Gray. This episode was edited by John Bahar. Our theme music is by Tamar Haviv, and our art is by Aaron Nestor.
If you like our show, remember to follow us, rate us 5 stars, leave a review wherever you get your podcasts, and of course, spread the word about Love to See It to all of your friends.
If you want to get in touch, you can email us at claireandemmapod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on TikTok at Love to See It Pod and on Instagram at Claire and Emma Pod. And you can find our newsletter Rich Text on Substack at claireandemma.substack.com. I'm also on Blue Sky at Emma Gray and on Instagram at Emma Lady Rose.
And I'm at Claire E. Fallon. Special thanks to the team at Odyssey, Eric Donnelly, Kate Rose, Maura Curran, Melissa Wester, and Hillary Shook.
We'll be back soon.
Can you keep